when they could just go, well, they're not that advanced. We could literally just throw a rock at them and they wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Even if we shot this thing to pieces, if it was headed towards Earth, it's, you know, kinetic energy. It's moving so fast. It would just, you just hit it and it'd just be coming in like this, and you'd hit it and it'd just blow up and it'd just be tons of shit flying at you instead of one thing. So that's like the most realistic way. Just like they did in Battlefield Earth, the book, I mean. And I guess in the movie they did this too, but, you know, one of the space probes we sent out years ago, I can't remember if it's Voyager or Pioneer, maybe Voyager, had a gold plated for corrosion efforts, record on the side of the spacecraft. And that record was encoded with all sorts of noises from Earth, languages, people saying hello, geographical information, pictures of animals and wildlife and weather patterns on Earth, and you know, a short tutorial of the human experience, and so on and so forth. You know, it has all that kind of crazy information, all the kind of stuff you wouldn't want to send to your enemy, right? So they sent that out as we're peaceful and primitive, you know, and kind of a dangerous thing when you think about it, but at the time, two trains of thought were going on in the space community. One, people just didn't believe in aliens. There's that. And number two, if there were going to be aliens, they would for sure be so peaceful because they would have evolved out of war. That was the thinking. Anyway, kind of ignorant, but anyway, yeah. In the movie Battlefield Earth, that probe went out, and a race of hostile aliens called the Cyclos found it. Like, either they found it or one of their space probes found it. Either way, they found it, and it showed them exactly where to go. And the reason they came to Earth was because these Cyclos, their biggest thing is they're like hyper-capitalists, kind of, and they were obsessed with gold. You know, they go just destroy everything to get the gold, right? And of course, this record was gold-plated. So they sent out the gold-plated record, and it showed them right where to go, and yada yada. So they did. They came over and they sent something. These Cyclos could do something. You know, they could teleport. So even though they had spaceships, they could teleport, and that's how they mainly took over the universe, you know. And so they just put in the coordinates and sent something called a gas drone. So you can figure it out. It was just a big machine drone, you know, that just had like nerve gas or something, you know, and they sent that to the planet and it just went around the planet gassing everybody and killing them. And yeah, that's how human beings became an endangered species, as it says in the book and movie. But that's exactly how they found us, to my knowledge, if I remember it correctly. It's been a while since I read the book. But the gas drones is what got humanity. So, making the tree, this tree that's eaten this person, this poor person. We've been enveloped by nature. And that was the whole idea behind the other ones of these I did for school projects, was that nature will always win. Yes, we can hurt nature, obviously, but it's been here a lot longer than us. It's always going to be here. And no matter what we think we can do to nature, it's always going to win. It's always going to win in the end. But yeah, that's what I think about the whole 3i Atlas thing. I think it's most likely a rock, although a very unique one. I think that's just what it is. Everybody's getting their pants tied up in a curl over it. But like I said, it's fun. It's fun to for whatever reason, human beings find fun in thinking of bad stuff. You know, the whole apocalypse grift, you know, everybody having kind of a fantasy of that. I guarantee you, nobody wants that shit. I sure wouldn't. Yeah, there's things that are appealing about it. but most of it's not appealing. The only thing that's really truly appealing about it is like the freedom. But yeah, what kind of freedom? You know, what kind of freedom is that? I'd much rather. I'm spoiled by the modern day. I would much rather watch Star Trek and hang out and take advantage of the day and age we live in than, you know, constantly have septic shock and you know, die of something stupid, cutting my ankle on a freaking branch. That's all. So yeah, that Kino Casino guy, those people are fucking hilarious, pardon my French, but they are. Some of the stuff they come up with is pretty funny. And they reminded me about a whole bunch of people that I totally forgot about. Some interesting characters, you could say. You know, people like Phil, DSP. I used to watch that guy years ago. Like, way years ago. Forgot about him. And, like, forgot about him for, like, 10 years. And then was watching this Kino Casino. I don't even know how the hell I ended up on there, how they ended up on my feed, Kino Casino. But, they did. Because I usually don't watch that lol cow type drama monger stuff, you know, nothing against it. It's definitely a niche, but yeah. But I'm glad I did, because like I said, him and that John Hicks guy kind of inspired me. Well, I shouldn't say him. Kino Casino consists of two hosts, so them and that John Wicks guy and Callie Dog. Yeah, Callie. Good old Callie. I haven't been back there in this century. And when I left there in 96, you know, I was 14 years old, so a lot of shit's changed. That is the constant, though, right? Change. It's the thing we all do. So, now that we've gotten everything a little thickened up, we got all the lines thickened, we can go with the secondary level of detail. So I'm going to put that there so it doesn't ink onto my arm. Sorry if it blocks it, but I just want to get that good. Same process here. Kind of thicken these up a little bit. Yeah. Kino Casino. I'll put those guys on for background noise. I put them on today, but you know, obviously I'm making a video and I can't have other people's content on in the background. I don't want to get a copyright strike. But yeah, man, some of the people they go after in that whole sphere of content, it's something else. Never streamed before. I've never live streamed. You know, like I said earlier, I'm kind of a illiterate when it comes to this stuff, you know. I'm learning as I go, you know. Obviously I can use a computer and a phone and all that, but when it comes to doing crazy edits and all that, I'm still a novice. But I'm working on it, and I'm getting there. If I ever want to make several, you know, hour-long videos apart from each other and then splice them together with voice overlay and an intro and all that, then I'm going to have to learn now, aren't I? But that's okay, because I'm willing to do it. And even then, it'll probably be pretty low tech. You know, I'm a pretty low tech kind of guy, so pretty low tech kind of guy. But yeah, watching all these people on Kino Casino and watching all these interesting characters that they kind of, I guess, roast would be the best way to put it. You know, because that's kind of what it is. But it's not like these are unwarranted. You know, a lot of these people are pretty goofy in their own right. You know, quartering, sticks, DSP. You know, Rich from Review Tech. You know, I've made a couple time-lapse shorts of these guys, actually. I made a time-lapse short of DSP. It's only like a minute long, but I draw a picture of DSP. And I did one of Review Tech, Rich from Review Tech as well. Those are in my shorts section. Yeah, my short. It's weird how it works. You know, my shorts get a fair amount of traffic, and my videos get like no traffic. So that's another reason I'm starting to do this. Is like hopefully I can get a little more traffic to my video section. Yep, crazy times, crazy times. 3i Atlas. Those drones, remember those drones last year? They were all over New Jersey, right? And, you know, the Biden administration didn't say anything, and then Trump got in office, and he's like, I'll get to the bottom of that, and then he's just like, oh, they were nothing, you know, some hobbyists. It's like, you fucking kidding me? Hobbyists. Not hobbyists. Were they alien drones? I don't know about that either. If anything, I think it was probably the government, but, you know, what can you do? But it's, you know, why wouldn't you just say something? Hey, we're going to be putting drones up over the city every night for the next month. Don't be alarmed by the enormous, autonomous, aircraft-sized drones flying literally over your house. Instead, they try to, I hate using this word, gaslight everybody into believing it's not there, or it's, you know, as it was going on, they literally just tried being like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. And, one of the advantages of living in a small town, you know, is that kind of stuff just doesn't simply happen around me, which is nice. That is nice. But sometimes it's like, it's kind of exciting too, you know? Because, like, what the hell was it? What were they doing? What was being looked for? What was, you know, what was going on? And nobody knows. So, what do you do? Alright, time to get this tree detailed. So we're going with this kind of feltish marker here again. You can tell it's dying because it's starting to get not as cooperative. Yep, those drones going on probably freaked out a fair amount of people. Would have freaked me out. And I don't blame them. All the tension going on in the country at the time. Doesn't surprise me a bit. And then just the government's, you know, seeming lack of give a damn. Yes, yes, yes. Alright, let me find a little marker here. No. Sure, I'll use this guy. Yeah, but you know, they were coming up with so many excuses at the time. Oh, it's Iran, it's hobbyists, it's Russia, it's China, it's aliens, it's a boat, it's, you know. Then they go back to, oh, it's hobbyists, it's, I don't know. Whatever it is, can't say that the last several years haven't been interesting, right, people? Starting in 2019, it seems like they haven't let off the gas, and you know, this whole time to what's going on, and nobody really knows what's going on because of it. And I think a lot of people are cashed out in the department of giving a damn anymore when it comes to all these scandals and conspiracies and just all of it. I think people are just cashed out. I don't blame them. I'm cashed out myself. You know, that's why I was thinking, you know, when I initially saw the Kino Casino, and I was like, that drama monger stuff looks kind of fun, you know, sitting there roasting internet people all day. But then I started thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know, that probably gets old. You might as well just do what you do and use your art. You know, ever since I was a kid, it's the only thing I could see myself doing was something in the arts. I just couldn't see myself doing anything else. And honestly, speaking in my head, it's like, it's still like that. It's like, what else would I be doing? And why have this talent to not try to do something with it? So, and I encourage people, obviously not at the detriment of, your life or paying bills, but yeah, man, try to exploit your talents any way you can, especially in this world we live in today. Yep. Yeah, I don't think we'll ever know what those drones were. There's probably a lot of things we're never gonna know, just in general, about the world, They keep so much stuff from us. And then they fib all the time. So nobody really knows what's going on. And I think that's the way the powers that be like it. They don't want us to ever know what's going on. And you probably don't even want to know, honestly, if you had an opportunity. Think about that, It's like when people say, would you ever want to know when you die? And it's like, not really. I don't think I would. That's just me, though. I can only speak for myself. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, whenever I want a good laugh, I'll watch the Kino Casino guys. It helps to have some context, to know who they're roasting or whatever. But it's pretty fun. Pretty fun on a crass kind of manner, crass level. It's pretty fun. And I'm not above it. I'm not saying I am. It's some of these people are pretty pretentious, though, the people they roast, and it's like, I get why they're roasting these people. And it is what it is, right? Is what it